This very trade show, the National Association of Chain Drugstores, NACDS, show in 1997 was the first time we exhibited a robot at a trade show, and that was the first dispensing robot for pharmacies. We brought it out onto the floor here and amazed a lot of people. Here we are today with the successors of that robot, you might say, but we now have about 7,000 of them throughout the world. They've changed some, there have been improvements, but frankly, the same fundamentals that were critical in our earliest models are critical today. Namely the ease of calibration of the drug cell, where you can take a drug cell that holds the drugs in a robot and adjust it for any tablets or capsules easily on site. The labeling processes, where the robot prints and applies the label to the bottle after it fills it, so you know exactly what's in the bottle. The ability, as you see our models out here, we have now 6 different models, different sizes, broad range of sizes, but they all are designed so that they can fit up against a wall or fit into a pharmacy with shelves behind it. So those are the fundamentals here. We've adopted better technologies for, let's say, loading vials. In the earliest robots, the vials had to be loaded manually. Today, our robots, you can just dump a box in there, which is way simpler. Another principle here is that although the robots have changed and improved over the years, every single robot that we have ever put out there is capable of being retrofitted with all the improvements that you see here in these robots today. And that's one of the cultures of ScriptPro. We're very proud of that. Our engineers and our development team takes a lot of pride in the fact that we have not stranded any of our robots out there. As a matter of fact, some of the earliest robots have been brought in, about 400 of them to date. Some of the earliest robots have been brought back to the factory and totally refurbished with the latest technology and put out for another 10 to 15 years of service. Some of those have already been in service almost 20 years. I believe that ScriptPro got into a field that was important, getting the right drugs in the bottles, getting them labeled properly. And I think we spent about 3 years designing our first robot, and I think it's really stood the test of time. I became interested in robotics for pharmacy about 1994. When I became aware of tragedies that were occurring out there with people getting the wrong medication. As we were developing the robots, we sponsored a national study to see, was this just something that you would read about occasionally or hear on the news, or was it a systemic problem? That study showed beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was a systemic problem and that a better solution was needed. So that was the number one reason, which we have never lost sight of. Accuracy, error prevention, patient safety. That's number one. As we moved further into the market, we found that there were other benefits as well. One of them was a cost benefit, because the robot can do the work of several people and it doesn't cost as much as several people, and it doesn't have to have a vacation or a healthcare plan, employee benefits. We provide a support, all-inclusive support program, but it's not as expensive as a healthcare plan. So there's a lot of financial benefits to having this task automated. The other thing that came along that actually was called to our attention by some of our chain customers that are here at this show was that there is a definite bump in patient satisfaction at these stores. Waiting in pharmacy is a significant dissatisfier for patients. So the robot would push the work through, speed it up, and that's a help. The other thing, honestly, is that we've seen that pharmacy staff kind of feel more professional, behave at a higher level, maybe dress better. One of our chain customers told us that when they put the robot in, they noticed their staff were dressing better because frankly, they were now looking forward to the opportunity to interact with their customers, rather than having their heads down counting a pill. The robot was doing that for them. So, those are three pretty compelling factors: preventing errors, reducing costs, and increasing the satisfaction of the patients with your pharmacy. Those are factors that we've seen along the way. Yes. As a matter of fact, we're working on one right now. We call it the Storage and Retrieval System robot. Where this has come from, when ScriptPro was started, IVR, interactive voice response, it might have been in a few places, but it really wasn't at all prevalent in the industry. The idea of MedSync and internet filling, all those things were far into the future back when we started. Now, those technologies have moved forward a lot to where there's a lot of pre-filling of prescriptions, central fill, pre-fill programs, where there are a lot of prescriptions that are filled in advance. And pharmacies train their patients to order their prescriptions in advance. And they get bagged up. And as you go into a pharmacy, it's pretty easy to see shelves with all sorts of bags laying around. So this introduces another potential problem. For one thing, those bags are sitting there. A clerk could pick up a bag and give it to the wrong patient, particularly if that patient is in a hurry and there's a line and there's maybe a complicated case that they're working on. So that happens, Another issue is that the patients now have gone to a lot of trouble to enter into all these programs, with their mobile devices, order their refills, and then they come to the pharmacy and they sort of expect things to be done quickly for them. And they come in there and they find these lines, okay? And they gotta wait in a line just to get their bag. And so we have a robot that is, it's a modular system, expandable, that will store these bags and allow them to be retrieved efficiently so that you only have access to the bag for the patient that's at the window, so you avoid an error that way. And also, these robots can interact with a kiosk that's outside the pharmacy so that the patient can come up to the kiosk, and if it's a refill and they don't need counseling, they just need to pay for their prescription and leave, then they can do that and the robot will take the prescription over to the kiosk and dispense it that way. Another area is the area of diversion. When you have these bags laying around, they can be targets for diversion. And it happens. We've seen it happen. We've seen some of the data where people can get in, take some pills and then blame it on the patient. The patient claimed they were short, but they really weren't. So there's a robotic solution to this that we are developing that I think is going to be extremely important, particularly for busy pharmacies. We love to show off our campus, as we call it. We love to have visitors there because they're usually pretty amazed when they see everything that goes into every ScriptPro installation. And we've talked about robots here, but ScriptPro has a complete end-to-end ambulatory pharmacy solution, complete with robotics and real-time 340B processing. It even has a specialty pharmacy-oriented clinical documentation and case management system that's built into it. And this requires a lot of moving parts at a place like ScriptPro. But going back to your basic question, if you go there, you'll see we have an installation base where we have trucks and trailers that deliver. Nobody handles ScriptPro equipment but ScriptPro personnel, okay? We load it onto our trucks and trailers for North America, Continental. We put it in sea containers to go overseas. And so our own teams are going to install it. We, of course, are doing development and research on our campus. We have a drug database. We call it our Industry Data Resources team that manages all sorts of things for the industry, drug information, insurance plan information. We have some clinical specialists for specialty pharmacy-oriented projects. We manufacture them there. We train people there, and we send trainers out, and we support them from our call center in Kansas City, and they coordinate with our field service team that works internationally in supporting these systems. So there's a lot going on there, and I love to have people come see. I like to show it off myself.
Third-party prescriptions continue to grow, and they account for almost 90% of the pharmacy's business. The gross margin continued to decline because of reduction in reimbursement and additional fees charged by the payers. Secondly, our clients feel that there is a lack of transparency with the third-party contracts. They don't know what contract they signed up for and what it represents. Thirdly, they feel that these contracts are all take it or leave it. In other words, they have no way of negotiating or renegotiating the terms of the contract. So that's really the evolution of third party that's at this time. Reimbursement keeps changing, gross margin keeps declining, and the operating cost keeps increasing. The result is many of these pharmacies cannot survive under this business environment. And a lot of them go out of business because of this changing reimbursement. With TPMS, we identify every transaction on a daily basis to see if these were underpaid. And if so, we will identify those claims and provide backup documentation to our clients so they can be followed up for payments appropriately. Secondly, all payments received by TPMS from the payers, we will process it every day and right down to a penny. So we know exactly how many claims were paid, what was paid, and if they were underpaid, we will then forward that information also to our payers. We will also identify all fees and charges by the payers, and with documentation, so the providers know what claims were paid and how many fees, what fees were charged. TPMS, unlike our competitor, is really a concierge type service. We provide all the details, we do the work, and so the clients know everything they should know, they need to know. With TPMS, we call it a third-party management system because it's not just an AR system. It's managing third-party business from end to end. You start with the contracts, we identify all the contract terms and we load into TPMS, and then we measure every prescription against the contract. The second part is a complete AR system. So we manage all the receivable, payments, payment posting, and all financials. Thirdly, it's a management reporting system. So all senior management reporting is done out of TPMS. Fourthly, it's also an analytical system. So all analytics can be done and opportunities can be identified through TPMS. Fifth, we also have a complete audit management to ensure that you're in compliance with all the regulatory and contractual obligation. So TPMS is a little more than AR system. It's a comprehensive system to manage all your third-party businesses. We survey all our TPMS customers during the deployment phase as well as post-deployment. And 100% of our customers we've surveyed have rated us excellent. And we also do a post-implementation business review meetings with them. And I just received 2 of the comments from 2 of our customers. And one of them was appreciative of the fact is that we went out to their facility and sat down with them, did a business review with them, and he said, I want to thank you for coming out and being a star and patient even 6 months after go live. Another client called us and said they have identified that they need to have somebody come and audit them for compliance with the regulatory processes as a result of TPMS. So we have a 100% satisfactory rate, and rating of excellence by all our customers.
Making a decision to put a ScriptPro in is a big financial commitment. We like to work with our customers through a number of different models to find the perfect solution for them. Every customer we work with is unique in what they're trying to accomplish, fix, or avoid. We'll get their information based upon their volume, their staffing, their future growth, and a number of other options. We put that into a financial analysis, and we come up with a perfect solution for that customer. Where we have 6 different size robots, we're unique. We have different options that you can add to each of those systems to accomplish specific tasks. So we create a customized solution for that pharmacist that's then built in Kansas City, and we roll it out to that pharmacy, deliver, install, and train it to provide them the best solution not only today but in the future. Should their needs change in the future and they need a different robot, we can upgrade the size of the robot. We also can add options to systems. Our first robot went into production in 1997. Features that we come out today can be retrofitted back to that first robot, and that's important to our customers. I think the number one key differentiator between our robot and anybody else's is our cell. We designed the cell back in 1994 and patented the best way to put pills in a bottle. It's a gravity-fed solution that feeds directly into the vial, prevents any cross-contamination, and we label after the fact, so it's always the right label going on that vial. You compare that with some of our competitors. I was at a site last week who had one of our competitors' robots. We met in front of the robot, and in looking at the robot, there's a lot of the cells that were empty. And speaking with the owner, he mentioned that as his wholesaler swaps out generics, he has to send in those cells to get recalibrated. Waits up to 3 to 5 days for that cell to come in and pays over $100. And looking more at his pharmacy, he had between 50 and 60 of those sitting on top of the bays waiting. With ScriptPro, you can swap a drug out in 90 seconds to go from one generic to another. Another key differentiator of our system is the ability to be placed against the wall. We offer 6 different sized robots that fit the smallest pharmacies, be it a grocery store or clinic pharmacy, up to the largest robot, which fits more of our higher volume pharmacies. We're at a trade show, and we go to a lot of trade shows. Our owner-operators that come to these trade shows are looking for ideas to make them more efficient, more accurate, and to provide a better customer experience. And most importantly, to be more profitable. What they need to accomplish this is time. At ScriptPro, we sell robots that provide time. Typical script takes 3 minutes to fill. If our robot can fill up to half of a pharmacy's prescription, we're giving back that pharmacist hours per day. They can focus on setting up a medication therapy management, they can work on syncing their patients, or they can improve their 5-star ratings. I wish I could say it was the sales rep, but it actually is our customer service. We spend a lot of time at trade shows, and half the folks that come through are customers telling us how great their customer service is. They deal with sales reps all day long that have the best product, the best service. Everything is sold to them, but reality is a lot of times that falls flat. What our customers like about ScriptPro is that we're committed to the product, we're committed to the industry, and we provide a product that 91% of our customers from before the year 1998 still have their robots in service today because of our customer service. And also another thing to consider was back in 1997 was our first trade show, was the NACDS, where we unveiled our SP200 robot. Since that time, we've grown to over 7,000 customers. How we've done that is that we focused only on pharmacy. We're a family-owned company with 700 employees based in Kansas City, and our only mission is to help pharmacies become better. Where we started with the robots that handled up to half of the prescriptions, we came out with a workflow that handled the other half. Our next product was our pharmacy management system, where we can handle a prescription from point of entry through point of sale. We have other systems that we've came out with and pioneered, telepharmacy. We have a new system that's coming out called our SRS, which is our storage and retrieval system, which is going to revolutionize the way pharmacies do will call. So in closing, people that partner with ScriptPro understand that they're not only getting someone that's going to sell them a robot, but we're going to sell them a solution that's going to help their pharmacy from start to finish.